So you're sick of insane petrol prices, huh? You could make like Fred Flintstone and substitute fuel for foot power. Or you could channel Icehouse and go, too many retro references? Didn't think so.
We went from selling just about 2,000 electric vehicles each year just a few years ago to last year more than 20,000.
Electric vehicles are gradually getting more affordable in Australia. Some of the cheapest on the market right now are the MG ZS at $40,990 and the soon-to-arrive BYD Atto 3 at just over $44,000 before on-road costs.
Electricity is so much cheaper than petrol, so you can recharge an electric vehicle for about $5 or $6.
Just how attractive electric vehicles are depends on where you live.
The Palaszczuk state government's offering a $3,000 rebate for anybody who buys an electric vehicle.
Queensland yesterday announced $45 million worth of subsidies and $10 million to build new charging stations.
If you're going to go, you may as well go the whole hog.
While in Victoria, EV and hybrid drivers are actually punished with a road user charge of 2.5 cents per kilometre.
All cars impact road maintenance. All cars impact on the infrastructure needs of our road system, so everyone should make a contribution.
Leading the way on EV incentives is New South Wales,
where they both exempt stamp duty and provide a $3,000 rebate, and in the meantime they're spending about $180 million with the private sector building out charging stations.
The federal government, meanwhile, has gone from this...
It's not going to tow your trailer, it's not going to tow your boat.
...to this.
Today we are launching our future fuels and vehicle strategy. It's making sure there's smart charging facilities available to consumers.
But
what we're really seeing is a number of state governments stepping up out of frustration that the federal government's been pretty asleep at the wheel on it. More than anything else, we need a bit of leadership.
Hit the go button, Angus.
So as Australia slowly catches up and those petrol prices continue to soar, could now be the time to make the switch.
Well, James Ward is a motoring expert from drive.com.au. He joins us now. James, are these crazy petrol prices enough to tip the balance in the favour of EVs?
Yeah, look, it's one of those things. I think the hip pocket is what is hurting Australians the most at the moment. And when you go and fill up the family car and it costs you $250 or something astronomical like that, obviously people are looking at ways that they can perhaps lessen that. And an electric car is an option. But saving, $20, $50 on your fill and buying a $70,000 car might not be the smartest way to do it, but it's a pretty cool way to do it, and there are a lot of choices now.
So what do the buyers need to take into consideration when weighing up whether to go electric?
Yeah, look, it's a really good question because it's not for everybody. And I think the key thing is if you want to have a full electric, make sure you've got off-street parking is the key, because then your driveway is a charger. You can plug it in at home, you can plug it in every night, and it makes that life a lot easier. You can't run an extension cord over a fence or something like that. The next thing to consider is how you drive. If you're in the city all the time, then a full electric car actually works really, really well. But if you're needing to do perhaps some regional Ks, maybe a plug-in hybrid is the way for you. So you can use electric power around the city, and then if you do need to drive to Shepparton or Wodonga or something like that, you can use the petrol power there.
Isn't part of the problem that there just aren't enough charging stations around the country for full EVs at the moment?
Yeah, and I think this is the key. When you look at Europe and you look at the US, you've got massive centralised populations close to each other, whereas here you've got huge distances in between. So the idea that this can suit every single person in Australia just doesn't work. In the cities, yes, it does. And again, we do need more charging infrastructure, but it's the regional areas that it's really going to fall down. And I think this is where we're probably 5 years or so away from just general appeal here and having those chargers on every street corner or on even every power pole.
James, really appreciate your insights. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we've just bought an electric vehicle. It's my first car in over a decade. And for us, it was about saving money, certainly the cost of petrol. But also, I suppose, we're deeply concerned about the future of the planet, the climate. What can we do? The frustration, the lack of action from federal government in particular. But also, someone has to pay for that transition, those technologies to develop and get cheaper. And if we can afford it, we need to be part of that.
So you don't mind paying more for the car?
No, well, I'm very privileged. I mean, I'm able to afford a slightly more expensive car, I suppose. But, even at $40,000, that's, it's not a huge way out of what is an average car. I'm buying a car from scratch. I'm not trading one in, so I would need a car. And you know, we've looked at it, the savings that we will make off a $14, 600 kilometre recharge versus $80 or $100 in petrol. Who knows where it's going to be in 2 years? But also knowing that we are driving that technological revolution and being part of the future, not the past, I think for us that stacks up.
I do wonder if petrol stations become obsolete, where do I get 2 Kit Kats for $2?